This is my brother-in-law's Xbox 360 controller. I believe I have tried replacing this stick once already, and the issue with it is it's a little more than drift. The stick that I replaced this with, like, it works. There's no like actual drift. There's a bit of drift, but the biggest issue is it gets stuck up in this corner. And I believe it also gets stuck down here too. But I'm gonna try and fix it again. But we're gonna do two things to it. One, I just clean this. I did a deep clean on this first. I put it through the ultrasonic cleaner, as well as just cleaning up the plastic a little bit for him. But that didn't fix it. So we're back. Also, don't mind all of these screws. I've been working on cleaning up and fixing a bunch of Game Boys today, and I don't know which video will come out first, but this is these are the Famicom screws. So yeah, working on many things at once right now, but we're just gonna tear this down. These videos aren't like really tutorials. Some of them might be tutorials. They're kind of lazy tutorials, I guess. Like, I feel like most people can tear down something on their own. If you really need help, you can look at an iFixit guide. Most of them are decent, but this is just 5 screws. Don't forget the hidden one underneath the sticker. They are T9, Torx 9. And then this just comes off. The front half will come off, back half will come off, and then you're stuck with the third half. And I'm gonna try not to desolder the rumble motors here, but I will swap over to the Torx 6 because these ones are 6 and not 9. Why can't they be all the same random screw? But I believe there's only 2 of them on this board. Yep, there's only 2, and this is the only board we need to take out, which is nice. So we are going to take this out, and I don't think, yeah, we're gonna have to desolder the triggers. These 2 wires are for the triggers. I need to plug in my soldering iron. Whoa. And usually the black wire is gonna be your, I don't have any tweezers right now. None of this is helpful because I need tweezers. Guess we'll do it without tweezers for a second. First thing we're going to do is we are going to remove these sticks. These are the used ones. We'll put those over there. Both of these do it. It's just this one bounces back when it's fully assembled. This one does not bounce back when fully assembled. And I don't know why. So we're going to replace this stick, one of these. Hopefully it'll be better. And then we're going to solder on some of these things over here, which I will explain that later. So I believe last time I did this with a solder sucker, but instead I'm going to be using some solder wick, some Goot wick. I prefer this stuff now. Just because solder suckers get jammed up, it's really annoying. So I also stopped using solder wick like from the whole bunch because all of this melting can occur around it because the whole coil gets heated up. So instead, I just cut a bit off and then I use that. This does have flux in the braid. I still like to put flux down. Makes life a little easier. Also going to turn my soldering iron up to 350 just because for whatever reason, the solder on the Xbox controller doesn't play nice. I don't know why. It's just a little bit harder. So now that we're up to 350, I am actually going to remove this rumble motor just because it is going to get in my way. And this will be a time lapse of me removing this because I don't really have much to say. Actually, I'm going to get this thing out, zoom out a bit. I think this will actually help me out a lot. It's the first time really getting to use this. Kind of excited. And I'm absolutely going to need to put my soldering iron down for a second. So this is a PCB holder, and it is exactly what you would think. It holds the PCB. So it's somewhat locked in right now. It doesn't like fit this PCB perfectly, but hopefully it stays in focus. I apologize. I'm not going to be focused on the camera here. I'm going to be focused on the board. Okay, so one of the problems I'm having with this, I've gotten most of the solder removed, but there's still solder remaining. When I want to pull on this, this just rotates, and I don't know how to stop that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can really do about it rotating on me. So it was doing well for a bit. Disappointing. I've yet to use a PCB holder that I actually enjoy. But from here, I am just going to stick my tweezers underneath and just kind of pull it out. At least try to. Some of it will just come out, but there's still some pieces of it that are soldered down, mainly over here in this area. And there we go. From here, this one looks kind of cool. So we're going to take this one and we are literally just going to stick it in the holes, get it all lined up. Now stuck in there. And we're going to take our solder. Actually, I'm going to flux it up again. Now I'm just going to put solder in each of those pins. And we're done with soldering for now. I actually probably shouldn't have done that, now that I think about it. If you're just replacing the stick, fine. But it probably would be easier for me if I would have laid these down, because this is the next other thing that we're going to do. And we're doing it to both the sticks here. So I'm going to cut a couple of these out, put the rest off the side because we don't really need it. And these are potentiometers. And if you don't know, joysticks, these guys, this style, which is the most common style as of right now, is just 2 potentiometers. And that's how the controller knows which way you're pointing the stick. And for stick drift is when those potentiometers don't go back to 0 when they're dead center. These things are another style of potentiometer. My hands are incredibly dry. Just ignore that. I look like a wrinkly old man right now. I was literally washing things for like a couple hours before this. It'll be fine tomorrow. But these are 2 potentiometers to correct those sticks. So we solder this down to these spots and line it up like that. And then we just solder those to this board, and we can plug this into the computer and adjust the potentiometers until everything is zeroed out. It's that simple. And so if you ever get stick drift again, which is fairly common, you can open your controller back up and you just have to adjust the potentiometers and you don't have to replace the entire stick. It's pretty cool. But right now I'm going to clean up the flux there. I forgot, you got to put IPA down, then the flux cleaner, and then it kind of does its own magic. It's pretty cool. Doesn't need to be perfect because we're probably going to use flux again here in a second. And this is no clean flux. I just don't like leaving sticky flux like this. Not my favorite. Now we are just going to zoom in. And I believe we want to do it like this. There's something in my way. There's a little component there. Let's make sure we're not going to accidentally bridge anything here. I don't think so. I think we'll be fine still. That's a little annoying. We'll start with this side just because it is nice and flat over here. And we will just use the leftover flux, or the leftover solder, excuse me. We'll probably have to add some solder of our own here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and we're good. So I'm going to just clean this up and put it back together, and then I will see if I can get my screen to record, because I am going to need to do that. I also need a micro USB. We'll figure it out. Okay, this took a ridiculous amount of time to set up, but we're here. I tried 4 different micro USB cables. Either they're all only power cables, or you just can't plug in a controller wired to a MacBook. So it is being powered by the MacBook, but I'm connected via Bluetooth. Then it took me forever just get the gamepad tester on screen. But anyways, we're here. We've got A, X, be, there's also a slight delay because I'm looking through the Streamlabs setup here. So if I react late to something, I apologize. All the face buttons are still working. Okay, the left trigger scared me for a second. I don't know why it didn't work. And I haven't ruined, oh gosh, I haven't ruined everything else. Xbox button works. It just popped up with something that controls the MacBook apparently. D-pad still works. Okay, big time. Right stick. Looks like we have full capabilities and it's not perfectly centered. We can get it to be centered, but I'm also going to put a stick top on it. I'm going to put stick tops on them, I should say. Maybe. We're back. So sticks are fully operational. Left stick is great. If I flick it in a direction, it comes back. That's what we like to see, but it's still not exactly perfect. I don't think any of them are going to be exactly perfect in the real world here. But if we get a Phillips head bit, we can seriously throw off his stick if we want to. Or we can be a nice brother-in-law, make sure his right stick is centered, get it as close to 0 as possible. It's not going to happen, but we're as close to 0 as we can. Make sure we're zeroed on the left stick. That's pretty dang close to 0 there. And then, yeah, those are really good. I might mess with the right stick a little bit more. These potentiometers are like super sensitive, but it looks pretty freaking good. I'm going to leave it there. And then we can just put this back together. Make sure you've connected all of your things back together, your vibration motors, your triggers, put your Kapton tape back if you mess with that, and make sure that thing is plugged back in. And make sure you line up the battery tabs when you're putting these together. Make sure when you're putting these clips back on that you're not trapping any wires. You don't want any of those to be pinched. That would be bad news bears. And from here, you can turn it back on. It should connect. We can go back to our gamepad tester. And we seem... Ooh. So because we adjusted... Interesting. Because we adjusted the drift slightly, it looks like we don't have full range, which is fine. I don't think it's going to matter that much. Well, actually, we have full range over here, but this, we're just not getting full range down low for some reason. And to the right. We're so close. I don't think it's going to matter in game, but that is interesting. I will, it's probably going to be a while before I actually post this video, so I will let you know in the video if my brother-in-law has noticed any difference with the right stick, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think it's going to matter more having the stick actually center, which it's never going to be perfect, but that left stick though, that looks pretty dang nice. And just making sure all of these buttons still work. Cool. I know the left stick is working well. Yeah, it's weird. I'm guessing it's because of that mod that we did and the adjustments, but I don't think it would make enough of a difference. With it being the right stick, you could just turn up your sensitivity and you wouldn't notice it, I guess. I don't know. I'm almost tempted to not tell him just to see if he even notices it. Because if I tell him, then he might say something even though he doesn't notice it. He might just think he notices it. I don't know. Either way, yeah, unless there's another part to it, I'm just going to end it here.